Hi there, my name is Colette, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to Bringing STEM to Light, teaching about light and optics. This course is designed for folks with little or no background in the science of light who would like to teach at the 6 to 12 age range, either in a formal or an informal setting. And why would we design a whole course just on the science of light for elementary age or elementary level teachers? Well, a couple of reasons. One is that science is a big part of the new standards. If you happen to be in the United States and you happen to be in a state where the next generation science standards are being implemented, the new requirements around light are much more extensive than they used to be, and a lot of people don't have a lot of training in that. And if you're not in the United States or you're not subject to the next generation science standards, I would say that light is still a very important topic to teach about. For one thing, it's very familiar, it's very engaging, it's very exciting, but it's not especially intuitive, and it's actually a pretty short leap from observing light to quantum physics. So it's a challenging topic, actually, to break down and make accessible to students. And it's really important to do that at the younger ages because light is becoming more and more of an important area of science, industry, and study every year. If you look at the cutting edge of most fields, whether it's medicine or manufacturing or defense or clean energy, light and the technologies that we've developed because we now understand light and can harness the power of light are driving the edges of those technologies and of those fields, much the same way that our capacity to understand electricity and to harness the power of electricity drove the technology of the early 1900s. So we're really in a whole new age of science driven by light, and a lot of people don't know that. But it's true. So it's really exciting to be able to share this with you and to work with you on bringing this science into the classroom. So how are we going to do that? There are some things that you'll see listed right down below for getting started. There's some information about the materials that we'll be using in this course. There is a kit that goes with this course. You're not required to have the kit at all. You can, there's a description of how you can gather materials that you probably have around. You might need one or more things, but there's no requirement to use the kit. It makes things easier. You can even not have any equipment and just follow along and deal with equipment later if you want to. So don't let that stop you if you don't have that. But do take a look at it. And then also right there, before we get started with the content of the modules, I'm going to ask you to head over to the discussion section and introduce yourself. I'd really like to know who's here, what level you teach, where you teach, and why you signed up for this course. What are you hoping to get out of it? And then we'll dive right into the modules. The first module is an introduction to light, and we'll primarily tackle the question, what is light? Not as easy to answer as you might think, and we'll have you actually take a stab at it before we go into any of the material so we can get an idea of kind of where we're starting, and you can mark your progress as you move forward. The second module focuses on the question, how do we see? How do we see? Which again, sounds like a very simple question. Turns out not so simple, and really the foundation of teaching about light for young kids and introducing light as a phenomenon that is something that's useful for seeing, certainly, and then for other things as well. In Module 2, we'll also introduce a pedagogical strategy called the 5 E's, and we'll look at unpacking that and using that, and we'll be using that throughout the rest of the course. The third module focuses on light and color, so it's a lot of fun, and we'll really start getting into the science of light. And then the fourth module looks at light, materials, and shadows, and it also looks at a strategy for teaching and learning science vocabulary and making that more of an interactive experience than simply memorizing vocabulary and trying to repeat it. So it's called Marzano's 6 Steps, and we'll take a look at that. And then finally, the final module is all about reflection and refraction. And in all of these modules, we'll introduce the science, we'll go over the pedagogy, and we'll also provide you with a number of supplemental materials and lots of ideas and activities for you to implement with your kids. There is a badge offered for this course. If you complete the requirements for each module and finish a final project, you earn the Light Ambassador badge, and I hope that you all do that. The final project is something that's really designed for you to get something out of this course. It is either a unit or a lesson plan around light and optics that you actually plan to implement in your class or in your setting. And then if you're not prepared to do that, then you can do an action plan that would have you get over any obstacles that you would need before you'd be able to implement either a unit or a lesson on light. If you need to get other people's buy-in, if you need to buy equipment, if you need to secure funding, if you need to make space in your curriculum, there's all kinds of things that may have to happen before you're ready to actually implement. And so we make allowances for that. So that's the final project. This is an ungraded, self-paced 5-week class. Each week a new module will open up, and the modules will stay open. So you can go back and you can go forward, but each week one module opens. So you won't have access to the full course today. 1 week from today you'll get access to the second module, et cetera, et cetera. And that's just so that I can keep everybody a little bit on the same page. There are over 400 of you registered at this point, and people will still be joining us as we move ahead. The modules will stay open for an as yet undetermined amount of time after the 5th week. That is so people who join us late have plenty of time to complete. And I'll give you more information about that as we go forward. This is a completely asynchronous course, which means that we will not be spending time online altogether. However, I'm hoping that we do have enough activity in the discussion sections to feel like we are all working together. There's a specific discussion section set up for general questions. I'd encourage you to use that area first. If you need to contact me, if you have a question, if you have a concern. If that isn't going to work, or you don't feel like you're getting a response, or if it's something that you want to communicate privately with me about, you can reach me at my email address, which is Colette, C-O-L-E-T-T-E, @laserclassroom.com, and that's right here on the welcome page as well. Let's see. Okay, that's it. I would encourage you to head on over to the discussion area, introduce yourself, check out the materials, and dive into Module 1. Thanks a lot.